Hi. So this morning I went to a webinar that the Economist put on, Business Beyond COVID-19, Resilience and Recovery. And I wrote an article, and it was so exciting that I thought I'd actually just make a film. I entitled the article, Want to Have the Competitive Edge Through This Economic Dive. It was music to my ears. It had speakers Bob Ward, who's the Policy Director at the Grantham Research Institute, Nina Seeger, Research Director for Sustainable Finance at the Cambridge Institute of Sustainability Leadership, Alistair Hamilton, Associate Partner at McKinsey, and William Hobbs, Chief Investment Officer, Wealth Management and Investment at Barclays. And they all set the scene very clearly regarding the huge economic gains of decarbonising now, while financial systems are trying to help in the recovery. They talked about being in the foothills of the digital transformation and how businesses must gear up for this fourth industrial revolution and retool the workforce for it. They healthily talked about the lag between job destruction and construction, and that now, while we're in this sort of troubled time, was the best time to focus on those changes, as later on could be detrimental to businesses and potentially missed. John Ferguson asked how we avoid a coal-fired recovery, to which the panel robustly said, having been vulnerable during this pandemic, companies are realising to be resilient to future global threats. Reducing emissions is key. And one of them said, music to my ears this bit, you can't build seawalls so high. It was clear that investing in fossil fuels was fiscally the wrong decision. Assets risk being stranded again in reaching the government's 2050 target and so many other governments' 2050 targets and many 2030 targets that others have for net zero emissions. It's important to look at supply chains and employee practices. Now, my background here gives the 10 pledges, and that's all about chairmen, CEOs, leaders demonstrating the pledges and can invite their staff to do them. It's 6 years of research. They're freely available to anybody. Just ask. So the webinar went on to talk about things like practical. We're just starting to go into the hurricane season and we have record sea surface temperatures, and you won't find a single person, a single skeptic that would argue warmer seas. We're going to have stormier conditions, stronger, stormier systems. And stress testing is vital. Now, we've just had a period of that. We've had it through the pandemic. So now let's use the recovery grants to ensure a low carbon pathway is planned in from now. This is because we can still affect that trajectory. It was clear the panel wanted businesses to be more involved with policy change and being in communications with governments. On asking how low oil price affects all of this, the panel made clear businesses can infuse government to taxing fossil fuels. They also think governments have also done some significantly good work, and it's really important to remember that amongst all the doom. And that also popped up. The virtual panel were moderated by John Ferguson, Country Analysis Director from the Economist Intelligence Unit. And if you wanted to know more about that, or possibly maybe get a copy of some of the details, you can email events@economist.com. Funnily enough, we're writing the training for businesses to get ready for flooding in Cornwall. And if you want in, it starts in September, it's free. So please do get in touch. All this and more will be shared. It's quite a good time, actually, if you're prepared for a bit of change.